Kyle Brandt of Good Morning Football and also of 10 Questions with Kyle Brandt on Spotify and Ringer. His guest is, in fact, Tim Robbins. He teased it last week. Good to see you, Kyle Brandt. How are you, sir?
There's no Rich Eisen that cracks me up more than unapologetically pissed off Jets fans. The Long Island comes out, doesn't it?
Well, I'm from Staten Island, but it is.
Island,
that's all good. It's still an island. It's just much more. It's more It's more impactful. You know, it doesn't.
How about that gangrene, Rich? How are you doing right now?
Playoffs or what?
Nah, that was a Giant fan who called in prior to the season.
Cares? It's perfect.
It's perfect.
It's not.
I see Jets fans. You know, I'm here in the state of New York,
Yes,
and
you
I
are.
see them, and you can tell. It's like, you know how if you're walking down a sidewalk and you see someone coming and you cross the street to stay away from them. That's what it is. They're so ornery and they so want to punch someone, and I think that one is pretty much the head coach, but I don't want it to be me. I avoid the Jets fans now. Wide berth.
Would you want Le'Veon Bell on the Bears, Kyle? What do you think about that one?
I think the running back position is my favorite in the game. I think he's unbelievably talented, and I don't want him anywhere close to a team that I'm rooting for. I don't want Matt Nagy, 2 weeks after they sign Le'Veon Bell, to have to answer questions from the Chicago media about, yeah, Coach, Le'Veon liked several tweets that said he wasn't getting the ball enough. Your thoughts on that? Get the hell out of here. I don't want to deal with that. No way. Le'Veon Bell last year with the Jets did not have a run of 20 yards. 20 yards. There's many, many, many people who have a 20-yard run. I don't need 60. I don't even need 40. If you're that good, you got to give me a 20-yard run. I don't care who's blocking for you. I don't think the skill is there. And I think the pain in the butt factor is high. I wish him well, but no, not on the Bears, and I don't think they will.
Kyle, in the first hour, Brockman and I went back and forth trying to fill out a poll question on Twitter with 4 teams. We couldn't. We barely got to 4 teams, and we went Bears, Patriots, just because, you know, Bill likes taking somebody from the Jets and winning championships with them. I'm not saying that, you know, Darrelle Revis is the same as Le'Veon Bell, but I think you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
Chargers, because they're so banged up, and Texans. Those are the only 4 we could come up with. Am I missing any, or do you think?
Well, I just saw some really bad news about the Broncos running back situation, so maybe them. But listen, the Le'Veon thing's fascinating. This is a guy who said, screw it, I'm sitting out. I'm going to try to be well-intended Joan of Arc for the running back position. Probably cost him some money. Definitely cost him some wins. He's already getting paid. So do we even know for sure that he's going to play? Would he not be a guy who says, no, I'm sitting out again, and maybe someone will pick me up next year? He's mercurial. So I don't know, but man, that stay with the Jets. I mean, what was that? What is the lasting memory of that? I don't even know.
Well, it's just a 17-game version of writing on the cocktail napkin. You don't want to be there anymore. So it's, I don't want to be the RB of the NYJ. It's kind of really what it is. But he has tweeted out that he's got something to prove, and I think it would behoove him to get out there right now and get on with the team right now and show that he can. You know, I think that would absolutely make sense. And I think, Chris, did you write down well-intended Joan of Arc for a fantasy team?
I sure did.
Okay, did you write that one down? I saw that you started scribbling.
Yeah.
I picked up on that one too. Yep. Kyle Brandt here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, so I know you're an Angry Runs individual. Oh my God, Derrick Henry stole the soul of somebody last night, did he not? Kyle
Stole
Brandt.
it and put it in his pocket. That was a I remember where you were event in the sport of football. Like, I'm not saying it's the Immaculate Reception or the Philly Special, but I'm going to remember that for a long time. And first-person experience, Rich, I walked away from the TV for a hot minute last night, doing something with the kids, and I come back and I look at my phone, and 50 different text messages from people I knew sat next to in high school or people I work with, and you don't know what they're talking about because the text messages were like, oh, my God. And it was, oh, bleep. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm like, what? It's 2020. We don't know what's going on. What are you people talking about? Finally, I said, oh, my gosh. All right, Derrick Henry threw someone out of the stadium like Uncle Phil throws Jazzy Jeff out of the house. And that was an unbelievably perfect storm. You know, this underrated part of that, it made it so good, and Twitter loved it so much because it was Josh Norman. Josh Norman, a known provocateur, agitator, unapologetic, you respect him. If that is anonymous Bill's Corner, it doesn't sing as much.
True.
It had to be him, and it was so beautiful. It was the Black Swan. It was a perfect dance. I've never seen a better stiff arm. I don't think I can think of one.
Well, I was telling the story in the first hour of the show, Kyle, that I was sitting at my desk and at home, just taking notes and doing stuff and being on Twitter and just generally hiding from my children. And I saw that moment and I went, oh, like literally made that noise. Like, oh, it was one of those moments. And then the first thing I thought of was that, Josh Norman ran with the Bulls in Pamplona. And I went and I got that photograph saying that that's how he was preparing for Derrick Henry. I mean, literally, that's what it was. That's
a big bull.
It's a big bull coming at you, and you better jump over it or run away. Like literally.
Yeah, those guys in the white jumpsuits and the red scarves, just get the hell out of there. But notice, you don't try to tackle the bull. He literally messed with the bull and got the horns. It was. Oof. I know what you mean by the sound that you made.
Yes.
The equivalent of that thing is that stiff arm that Derrick Henry threw. It was really like watching a dramatic knockout in boxing or maybe MMA. Like I remember when Lennox Lewis was fighting Hasim Rahman, and it was just one of these massive overhand rights when everybody just starts going to the exits before he goes to the canvas.
Right.
That was what we got from Derrick Henry. It was beautiful. That's why I love this game.
Kyle Brandt here on the Rich Eisen Show. 5 weeks in, and the story of the 2020 season. I'm going to go macro on you right now, Kyle. And I don't want to forget about COVID. I won't talk about just football here.
No.
The football story of the 2020 season is what through 5 weeks of this campaign. What do you think?
I think it's Rodgers. I think it's the Packers. But don't you already feel, Rich, like we're gonna get Russell versus Rodgers Part 9? Like it's. I know that it's October. These two teams are so good. The two quarterbacks are so good. They've played 8 times. They're 4-4 against each other. The home team has won every single time. I think as well as those teams are playing in purely non-COVID storylines, it's the two of them. Because, listen, the bloom's off the rose on the Bills now. That might have been the story if they won last night. The Chiefs have learned that they, like Xerxes, can bleed. And now we got, the Raiders are fascinating, but I'm just going to go right to the cream of the crop. I'm going to go right to the two best teams we see right now, and I think it's Green Bay, Seattle. You and I have both talked to Rodgers throughout our careers, including this season. When I last did, I posed him a question directly. I said, Aaron, you've dominated the NFC North so badly. There's no competition. I said, who is your rival? Do you have a rival in the NFL? Peyton had Brady and on and on. He said, well, I've played Matt Stafford the most. No. Matt Stafford is not your rival, Aaron. Who's your rival? Right. And he didn't give an answer. And I said, I think it's Russ. He goes, yeah, we've had some good games. It was almost a reluctance to admit it, but that's the one. And I hope they meet in the NFC title game.
I know that before that. They don't meet at all in the regular season, interesting enough. But it's Rodgers and Brady coming up. I can't wait. I mean, what a piece of filet mignon. Week 6, man. Rodgers and Brady coming up, 2 12s, and obviously Brady having fun with his senior moment by putting LeBron on his body in the number 4, congratulating him on his 4th title, all that stuff. Brady's taking it all in. And hopefully for him, he can get Godwin back and everybody somewhat, moderately healthy. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be amazing this weekend.
The only thing that I would like better than the Bucs getting to the Super Bowl with Brady, we've talked about this, is the Patriots-Bucs Super Bowl. Like that is the sporting event. That is better than the Balboa Drago on Christmas Day in the USSR. That's the biggest sporting event of our time. And the Patriots are mysterious now all of a sudden. I feel like we haven't seen them in a long time. But that's the one I want. And I think Brady will get up from the turf that Khalil Mack was slamming him on.
Now, by the way, that was one of my favorite pieces of video from Week 5 was when he was sacked by Khalil Mack and Brady didn't know who sacked him, and then he saw it was Mack, and he kind of like rolled his again. Like he kind of gave Tristan Wirfs a look, like, can we?
Come on, bro.
Can we get a little help? Like literally, that was one of my favorite pieces of video that I saw on the weekend. But all that said, you did say that you liked the Steelers before the season. They are 4-0. Chase Claypool was another guy who memed the Brady number 4 for the number of touchdowns that he had. Yesterday, I kind of pounded the table on my 4 downs that Big Ben is not getting an MVP talk, and he, like Russell Wilson, also has never received a vote for most valuable player in his career. Never. And maybe it's time to start pounding the table for him being an MVP, because unless everybody thinks his consolation prize of not being part of this conversation is the Comeback Player of the Year award he's going to get.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's at this point, who knows? That may go to Alex Smith. There's going to be a lot of competition at the NFL honors, but what you bring up for MVP is fascinating, because it's a little like the Royal Rumble. You get the couple of guys in the ring early, and we had Russ and we had Rodgers. I think Josh Allen might have just gotten thrown over the top rope by Big John Studd. He might be out, but you get the other guys who are running in, who Roethlisberger and Ryan Tannehill is leading an undefeated team and running for touchdowns and beating the Bills and throwing. I mean, he looks great too. So this thing is not going to be Patrick Mahomes throws 50 touchdowns and runs away with it, or Lamar runs for 12,000 yards. It's going to be down to the last month. And we got some heavyweights in there throwing punches. I agree with you about Pittsburgh. I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl before, Rich, we got to the Chase Claypool experience, which is delightful, a 6'4" Canadian receiver. The only battle that's going on I see with him, everybody likes him. There seems to be a lot of discussion about what his nickname should be, and I would only ask your thoughts on it.
Please.
I saw one suggestion I adored, which was if Calvin Johnson was Megatron, this guy, being last name Claypool, is Optimus Primus. Which I really, really liked.
Okay.
I know the Canadian roots are calling him Mapletron, and then they say when he goes to the black and yellow striped jerseys, he could be a Bumblebee. So there's a lot of Decepticon stuff going on, but I love the Primus thread.
Okay, I will go with the Chase-tural.
Oh, boy.
Say it again?
The Chase-tural.
Kyle, don't entertain this for 1 second.
I can't understand the word Rich is saying.
Well,
but
again,
I'm trying to help you, Rich.
No, okay, so yes, the Chase-tural. The Mattural, Matt Ryan didn't want. I then went to Matt Stafford, not knowing at the time that they were best friends, that I was offering Matt Stafford the sloppy seconds that Matt Ryan did not want. I then went back to Matt Ryan. Again, he still rejected that. And then I called Patrick Mahomes, and I said, how about the Patrural? He laughed via text and said, no, thank you. I then went back to Matt Ryan again. This is the Letterman style of humor, to take something, beat it up, and then beat it to death. This was Matt Ryan's response to that.
You got to move on. You got to move on.
He told me to move on. So I won't move on from just the fill-in-the-blank churl. I could go Claytural. We could do that. Pooltural.
Did you ever try the Dactural?
Never tried it. Never tried it. That does sound like a nice, tasty treat at Fat Tuesdays, Like you can get that could pack a wallop. By the way, Xerxes Blood might be my next fantasy team name. I wrote that one down.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
XCR-XCS.
So I'd like that. Mapletron is not a bad one. I kind of, you gotta know that he's Canadian, and you got to know that he's tall. That's the problem with that one.
Yeah, he likes the attention. Typically, when I think of Canadian-rooted wide receivers who draw attention to themselves all day long, I think of Nate Burleson. But there's a new guy here.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey now.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Good Morning Football shots fired right there. I do think, though, that in the halftime segment of last night's game, Bill Cowher gave Nate the credit for angry runs.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one?
I think what happened is I think Nate texted him something about angry runs, and then Bill did his best to credit me with it. But listen, I'll take it. This is me screaming in my leaky basement about guys running over each other. So the fact that it goes to the CBS Broadcast Center and Bill Cowher is talking about angry runs, it's pretty awesome, Rich.
So before I let you go, sir, you dropped serious breadcrumbs last week, saying that you had just gotten off the phone for this week's pod interview, 10 Questions with Kyle Brandt, Spotify and The Ringer, of one of the greatest movies of all time, one of your favorite movies ever, and a significant star, we all guessed, and it turns out to be, I give you the floor, your guest this week.
Well, I didn't pull the rug out. I didn't do the smart-ass thing and say, hey, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme from Bloodsport. No, this is real. I promise you there'd be no joke.
Yes.
And on the most recent episode of 10 Questions is the great, great Tim Robbins, from The Shawshank Redemption, which is how I qualified one of the most beloved movies ever, and one of the lead actors of that, the lead actor. And I got to tell you, unbelievably cool guy. And if you eat up Shawshank like we all do, you got to hear Tim Robbins talking about how at night during the shoot, he and Morgan Freeman would sit around and barbecue and, as he put it, enjoy certain illegal activities. And I said, hold on a second. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me Andy and Red are sitting around, smoking doobies and eating chicken wings? And then he said, and we had a basketball court where I was living, and the guy, Clancy Brown, who plays Byron Hadley, would come over and we'd play basketball. I said, Andy versus Hadley? You guys are both like 7 feet tall. How did the games go? And we get into it, and I was in heaven, and Robbins was amazing.
Okay, so many questions based off of that. Yeah. I don't have 10. I don't know if we have time left for that. But
sure.
Are you saying, did somebody post up Morgan Freeman? Is that what you're saying? Or he didn't play the basketball?
I think it might have been William Sadler who was going on Freeman, and because Freeman is good from the perimeter, but Hadley and Dufresne were on the low post, and I have pieced together who I think would be my my Shawshank starting five.
Please.
If I had to have one.
Yes, you.
And I'd be thrilled to share it with you.
Please.
If I was going to make a starting five from the crew, I got in my point guard. I got young Tommy, who comes in with the sideburns and has to learn how to read. I got Haywood. Haywood at the shooting guard, mouthy, good stroke. Byron Hadley's going to be my center, my man in the middle. Red is going to be my small forward. I think he's tall. He shows athleticism with the baseball glove. And then Andy Dufresne is our power forward with Boggs, the sixth man coming off the bench.
Wow. That's some aggression off the bench.
All right, now give me the starting five from the Green Mile and who wins. Oh, well, look, I can go all day. Do you even need anything after coffee? Coffee you can just sit there in the middle of and just eat up all the paint. Coffee likes to drink, of course, that is. And then you take Percy. Percy is going to be the agitator because he just annoys the hell out of everybody. And then I want Mr. Jingle, the magic mouse, running the point guard. And after that, we're going to beat everybody by 30. It's going to be like the dream team against Estonia. We'll just run it up on everyone. We should do all Stephen King adapted films, starting five, and do some sort of Stephen King madness, and let's go.
I love it.
Rich, you don't need to get us started. We'll do the running man, and our front court of Whitman, Price, and Haddad will all be all-stars. You know that. The problem is what Whitman, Price, and Haddad are we getting? The real one or the ones that have been put on the island to hide the entire construct of the dystopia? What are we doing? You remember them.
Great question.
Basking in the Maui sun, Whitman, Price, and Haddad. Whitman, Price, and Haddad. It's fantastic. Oh. What do you got to go for it, Chris, before we go?
Kyle,
we can't say goodbye to you, Kyle.
We just got to bring it up. I mean, I hate to go down this road with you, but it is the anniversary of the Steve Bartman play. Where were you? What do you remember about that moment?
I remember it vividly. It's one of my most vivid sports memories of my life. In the Steve Bartman play, which I believe was in October of 2003, I was on the set of NBC's Days of Our Lives, playing Philip Kiriakis. I was doing a scene with my father, Victor Kiriakis, who was, of course, played by John Aniston, the real-life father of Jennifer Aniston. And we couldn't watch the game, and the camera guys on their little monitors, they would get like a TV feed on the big of their giant cameras they had then. And I remember the Cubs were way up, and I said, this is going to be incredible. We're going to the World Series. It's going to be amazing. I've been a Cubs fan my whole life. And the guy on camera one, after every take of the scene that I kept messing up, would say, "Another run for the Marlins. Another run." He would lean over and he'd say, "It's not good. It's not good. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? It's not good. Let's close this thing. Go to the series." Finished the scene. Finally, I was terrible in the scene. John Aniston was just carrying me, and I find out what happened, and I never forget. I watched that. I was devastated, and then later that night on SportsCenter, our friend Dan Patrick got Baba Booeyed by Captain Jenks. It was a crazy night. Like sands through the hourglass. That's right. Oh, my gosh. It's a wild one. You didn't think that would be the answer to that?
I did not. It's today, 17 years ago today.
Oh, man. No, that's crazy. Honestly, one of the true black eyes on the Chicago sports fan base. I genuinely believe that. It was a terrible, pathetic display, and I actually am kind of ashamed of that as a Chicagoan, what they did to that guy. Moises Alou's reaction didn't help, but that was human. The worst part about it, and we don't need to go down the whole wormhole, it was Game 6.
Yes.
They had Kerry Wood going in Game 7, a game in which Kerry Wood hit a home run, and they still couldn't win the game. So don't put it all on Bartman, wherever he is in his subterranean bunker in the north suburbs somewhere.
Well,
leave that man alone.
Alex Gonzalez had the double play ball right there.
Yes.
And it went through the wickets. And also, by the way, Buckner, everybody thinks Buckner played. It was Game 7 of the 86 World Series. It was Game 6. So there's many different ways to go. 10 questions with Kyle Brandt on Spotify and Ringer. I will definitely get that Tim Robbins episode because I'm sure you had to go in the Bull Durham direction a little bit as well with him, I imagine.
Big time. I made him say, Tim, tell me right now, why is Bull Durham Field of Dreams and Major League? And he took a run at it, buddy. That Nuke LaLoosh looked back and buzzed one at me.
Fantastic. 10 questions with Kyle Brandt podcast were on Spotify and The Ringer, and, of course, Good Morning Football, 7 a.m. every single day. Love our chats every Wednesday. I texted you that. I'll say it again. Thank you.
It's the best, Rich. I look forward to it every week, man.
Right back at you. That's Kyle Brandt, everybody.
See you, buddy.